Welcome back to Truth Bomber TV. We're talking about criticism today and how we can use it to do self work, why we actually need to criticize other people and for other people to criticize us so we can figure out what our inner traumas, insecurities, and core soul issues are. It has a purpose. It does, whether we like it or not. So until we start doing self-realization, what usually happens is we seem to be in these repeat loops of things where we have that same old kind of thinking. We keep getting the same results. We complain about the same and people. We attract the same kind of people. And we think that it's really about them when really it's about us. And the people in our lives are mirrors of what's going on inside our internal world that sometimes can be so hard to see and recognize in ourselves. Narcissists are critical of everyone and everything to elevate themselves and what their grand ideals of who they are really is. So they are looking to find every single insecurity you have. They're looking to hammer you on anything that you did wrong. Whereas empaths are people pleasers who will avoid criticizing anyone. They do not want to hurt someone's feelings. So regardless, they don't want to say anything that might make you feel insecure or it might make you feel bad about yourselves. And usually until you start healing, you will lie to do this. So there's two sides of the coin here where both people could use some balancing because the narcissist will inflate things in order to make us feel bad. The empath will inflate things in order for us to not feel bad. And what we need to do is find the truth. So that's why narcissists have to be designed the way they are and think that they are perfect and do no wrong because they are a mere reflection of the empath who's constantly criticizing themselves and critiquing themselves within their own headspace, within their minds. They are the worst critic of themselves. And so the outside voice of the narcissist, if we get emotionally triggered, is actually the inside voice that we have in our own mind. So any fears, worries, or insecurities are being mirrored by this outside person. So we can look at those and figure out, oh, that's my core issue. You're telling me what my insecurity is. And that way we can look at them with gratitude and compassion rather than from a judgmental space that will lower our energy, our frequency, our vibration, and pull us into this ego mindset. That's why narcissists have to be designed to lack compassion for other people, and they don't have this emotional ability to empathize, so they can be these messengers for us. Where empaths are overly compassionate and over emotionally connected to everyone and everything. So we always think about what might hurt somebody's feelings or if someone might trickle down effect to be bad for this person. So there's no right or wrong. Both sides could use some balancing from the other. And the design of Earth is so cool when you really figure it out because you need to find some balance between these two mindsets. So, how do we change the pattern? Look at what you criticize in other people and look at what other people criticize about you. Projecting is such a difficult thing to introspect into what is going on within me because sometimes what we criticize about other people is actually something that we do that we can't see. And what other people criticize about us is something they do that they can't see. So if you get a message or you get criticized by a lot of different people in your life that you meet on the same thing, you can pretty much bet that it actually is you. And you should take this criticism to heart because it's somewhere you need to balance yourself out. And I put this Aristotle's concept of the golden mean just as some examples of how we can be unbalanced. So, and we can also attract the opposite imbalance. So, like a coward could meet a bully, or someone who's stingy could meet someone like overly extravagant and giving. And usually, people pleasers are overly giving, whereas the other opposite side of the coin is someone who just cannot let go of money no matter what. And there should be some kind of balance between give and take. So you also have to realize that what emotionally triggers you in someone else could also possibly be somewhere you're imbalanced, somewhere that you need to find some balance in between being these things. And I won't go through all of them, but you can look at the list and you can do some kind of checklist on what's going on inside of you and where you can work on yourself. That's the only thing that we can do to evolve and heal the planet, is to become the highest version of ourselves, which takes self-work, and it takes focusing on us and getting out of the thought pattern of things being about other people. So decipher the core issue and what the source is. Choose unconditional love and forgiveness. So let's say that you are overly giving because you're a people pleaser and you attract someone overly miserly. So choose to unconditionally love yourself and forgive yourself, as well as the person that is mirroring back your imbalance. And if it's something you're projecting about, then you really have a lot of self-work to do, because what you hate about that person is actually being attracted back to you because it's something you hate about yourself. So we should be working to become more a balanced, more evolved every single day. We've got to go through this emotional checklist all the time. And when you get into a situation where you get emotionally triggered, start thinking about things backwards. Instead of complaining about that person, see, why are we getting emotionally triggered? Once you work through all your core issues, people don't emotionally trigger you. People do not get under your skin because you have stepped into your highest power, your highest being. If you are a coward and you attract a bully and you start being courageous and turn down the bully, then all of a sudden they don't bother you anymore. Let's say that there's a bully or someone that gives you a hard time about a certain element of yourself. Let's say every time you see him, they're like, oh my gosh, your nose is so big and your face is ugly. Well, if you think my nose is big and my face is ugly, every time you look in the mirror, they're just the outside voice of the inside voice. And it's somewhere that you have rejected and criticized yourself, where you need to step into unconditional love and forgiveness. And then the next time that the bully decides to bully you about this inner core issue and say, you have a big nose and an ugly face, you say to yourself, I unconditionally love myself. What the bully thinks of me has nothing to do with me. That way you don't get emotionally triggered, because the bully is picking on certain things in order to show you what those insecurities are. It is not random. They're just not randomly choosing to say things. And that's how we are all interconnected in this idea of oneness, because we are so telepathic on these different inner traumas that it's really amazing. So I hope that's helped you to understand how to do self-work on what other people criticize you about and the things you need to work on. And if it is something you need to work on to change that pattern, first you have to unconditionally love and forgive. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great week.